So, introduce yourself to everyone out there in podcast land that does not know who you are.
What's up? I'm Perry Eggert. I own a small tree service based out of Albertville. Eggert's Tree Service. Find us on Facebook, Instagram, Google. And we got these new sweet hats inspired by Norm MacDonald. So for those who know. But yeah, we do trees, tree removal, tree pruning.
Okay. Okay. So, what got you into the business? What makes you want to wake up and do this every day?
So like the long answer, kind of did the thing like a lot of young people do, kind of like a tumbleweed, had a lot of different directions, different interests. I was in music and some other art, and you don't make any money doing that. So, flash forward, COVID hit, and I started working for a tree service, and I had no idea it was a job, much less like a profession and an industry, and there's a lot to know. And so I just kind of dived right in and just felt kind of for the first time like this is something I could be really good at and something that I want to take to however far it'll take me. So that's kind of how I got started, and we do it every day.
So, what is one of the more fun things you enjoy about your job? Do you do any like tree cutting? Is that something that is like your thing? Like, do you have a certain jam that you like when you're working?
Yeah, for me, I like climbing and I like the sense of adventure with it. And I like doing tree removals. Whereas my partner, Dustin, he's more, let's do it like to the specifications, industry standard. He does all the pruning, he's going through school, get his arborist certification. But for me, so like a couple days ago, showed up at a job. I learned to ask more questions before I just say we'll do it. But we get there and the tree is like 100 feet tall. I was like, well, we're gonna do what we do. And when I got up there, there was still like 20 more feet to go. And when I measured my rope out, I was probably 80 feet. And that was it was good to test, like it's like for personal challenge. It was good to push my limits and to see if I can do it or how it would react. So I kind of just do it to see, like, for personal growth and to brag about it to my friends, really.
Okay.
So, but I like doing the dramatic stuff, falling the trees, like cutting them down from the base, and just it's really fun. And once you start to know what to look for, and there's so many little nuances that you don't pick up unless if you do it every day. So I find that to be really fun, and I'd say climbing. That's my favorite thing to do.
Okay. Okay.
Uh,
So, who do you normally serve? Like, what are the communities you serve? Like, since you mentioned you're in the Albertville area, do you only serve Albertville? Do you serve like Wright County in general, Sherburne County, Hennepin County? Are you all over Minnesota?
Yeah, that's a good question. So generally, we like to stick to our rules, and we put a 20-mile radius around Albertville. All of our resources are there. We know a lot of people there, and generally the trees are within our scope and our what our equipment can actually do.
Okay.
So we like that. So last year we got the opportunity to spend a week up north, and we went to Sabika, Longville, Hackensack, Emily, and Nisswa. And the reason why we were able to do that, we had a lot of strong like connections in the community, and all those people had cabins, or hey, this is my brother-in-law, this is my cousin, so we could trust that they're going to be reasonable, and then they'll trust us to do the work. Well, that was great. What did we do up there? Climbed some 120-foot pine trees, and we didn't do any removals, but the homeowner wanted us to trim to a certain height, so that was another 80-footer. So that was kind of wild. We did a couple on the lake, and that was really cool. Uh, so I was up there, and there's a pontoon going by, and so we like kind of wave, and she waves, and then she stops, and she's like, "Does your mom know that you do?" So she was super cool. Took a picture and put it up there. So I like sharing that story. And so again, back to the adventure. We're open to seeing and collaborating. And I love to travel and see different things and meet new people. But from a practicality standpoint, it's 20 miles. If not, sorry, call somebody else. Thank you. Unless if they're super reasonable and cool and they really want us to be there. Because then we feel good, like showing up because they're expecting the best. We want to do the best. And then it turns out to be a good time.
So if they're 40 miles out of your range and you're like, they're cool people, let's do it.
We'll
You'll
go.
do it.
Yeah, we'll tell them, cook up some lunch and we'll be right there, So it's like,
Okay. Um, what is something that inspires you with your business and what you do for those in the community?
yeah, for me personally, um, I want to give my best to something. And for me, it's a way to pursue virtue through my work. So I tell clients this all the time. If you did not love this job, it would be the worst job in the world. Everything's heavy. It's always hot. Nobody calls you if it ain't over something expensive. And it's like, well, this job it would be so difficult to overcome if you didn't have that attitude.
Right.
So that's kind of a deeper answer. But then community, so I love being in St. Michael, Albertville. I grew up there, went to high school there, and now that I moved back and started my company there, I'm always looking for what is a need to be filled and who do I know that can help. So knowing other business owners and other charities and things like this. So what did we do? There's a thrift store in town and they do really good work. It's St. Vincent de Paul. All the proceeds go to people in the community, and they're very judicious in the way they decide how to spend their money, but it goes directly to families. And there's a lot of like hidden poverty out in the suburbs. You would think like, oh, suburbs, super nice, but there's plenty of people sleeping in their cars. But anyway, they had a need. They needed a tree cut down. And I was like, well, we'll just go do it. Like, don't worry about it. So things like that. One thing to look up. So follow me on Facebook if you're in that area or if you'd like to contribute. We are working. There's a brand new food pantry in Albertville and they just opened. I don't think a lot of people know it's there. So to raise awareness, we are going to, so I have a big chip truck and in the back. It's like a dump body. And we are going to fill the chip truck. That's the goal. So we're still in the works of that. It's hopefully in August. We'll have it rolling. But I want it to be other businesses come in. They can sponsor, maybe have like something for kids to show up. We'll do it in a grocery store parking lot, make it kind of a big deal. And then if you fill that chip truck, like that's a lot of corn and beans, so or whatever people want. And I think doing that, I think it just is a good exercise in generosity and being a real community member. Like kind of somebody recently told me like, just give more than you take and your life is pretty easy. And I was like, well, yeah, that's good. I don't know.
True.
Oh,
It's very true.
yeah.
So then since you mentioned what wakes you up in the morning to do everything, do you have kiddos?
No.
No,
I have nieces and nephews and that kind of thing.
they count.
But yeah, they're good most of the time but they're fun. They're all little and
Do they ask
nice.
you about what you do at all, or are they enthused about what
No,
Uncle does? Or they're like, "You're so high up there, Uncle, we can't."
they don't care.
They don't care.
I'll be like, oh,
Kids.
look at these pictures, like trying to get a
Well,
rise
you
out of
don't
them, and
show
then they're
'em
like,
trees. You kind of show them like the stuff that you do, like, "Oh, I was this high up," and stuff like that.
exactly, and they're like, put on Danny Go, you know what I mean? And I'm just like, well, whatever.
Well, you gotta love kids, right? I mean, that's kind of what they do is they add a little razzle dazzle to everything, especially when you're trying to tell them and educate them about what you do, and they just don't care.
No, yeah.
Yeah.
No, they're fun. I guarantee I was the same way. So,
Well, considering you mentioned that you do a lot of tree climbing, I assume that's what you did more as a kid.
no. It
Really?
like as a kid I like being outdoors, but it would be like going up north, fishing, biking all over, finding spots on the river to fish, and then like baseball, wiffle ball. We had our own wiffle ball league that we made and things like that. But like I said, I was like, I didn't even know tree work was. It never occurred to me that people even do that.
Right.
But now every day we drive around and we're like chip truck, grapple truck, some kind of, or we'll drive around and be like, you can tell a landscaper did that, or you can tell like,
Oh, you
you know what I
guys
mean?
do the critiquing when you're driving around, like, oh, look at that.
Yeah, we want to make
Look who did that. I
well,
wonder who planted all this.
yes, it's fun though. We don't publicly bash anybody, but I would want to make like an Instagram, and I just need to find a title, but the content would be like,
Who did this?
who
Why
did
would
this?
you put this here?
Yeah, it
What
should
were
be
you
illegal.
thinking?
And we could do that because
What not to do?
we are discovering there is so much to know, and the there's an effort to standardize tree work, but there's also resistance because you have people who learned one way and that's the only way,
Yeah.
and people who, like any profession, you got
You're set in your ways.
yeah, you got good people, you got dishonest people, you got professional people who want to know, you have like all this, like there's a reason they have like arborist school and standards, and then you have people with trucks and a six pack, and there you go. So it's like, but we want to know the most and for our own benefit because we spend a lot of time just educating the customer, and sometimes they're like, I really just need to cut down. And they're like, but not.
Could care less about what you have to say, and they're just like, just cut
Yeah,
that.
just do it. And we're like, okay. But there's a lot to know. But again, like the personal growth thing, it's like, who would have known there's like nutrients in the soil to be able to help the tree, or you can inject things in there to.
Probably don't have your dog pee on the tree every day.
Yeah, 101. Do not do that.
Or maybe if you notice that your trees are a little weird looking, you should probably call someone like, hey, I could probably have all the wonderful stuff that goes on with trees, like infections and diseases and things like that.
Yeah, plant healthcare is a big deal. Some companies only do that. And they'll come out, tell you what's going on. They'll take soil samples. You can have problems with the root system. You can have there's a lot.
Sky's the limit.
So, yeah. Right now we're small, but we're growing, and we'll just kind of keep doing it until, I don't know.
Do you have a plan of expanding at all in Minnesota from where you are currently? Like with employees and then some?
Yeah, so right now it's about building the funnels to find the correct people, because I've done this as the owner. I was like, I need people. So I was freaking out. And then you hire people. Well, then you have people that they don't care. They don't want to be there. It's really just a job to them. But I've gotten really lucky. Like with Dustin, he's been with me since the beginning. We had a truck and a trailer, and I asked him once, I was like, why do you still work here? Because I don't think I would. I was like, if this wasn't my own thing, I wouldn't be working here. So he's stuck it out. He's a really hard worker, very knowledgeable, and so building us up so that we can we're thinking about starting a feeder program. There's a school in Monticello that's interested in offering it to their students. So if you're a junior or a senior and you're really interested in like arboriculture, I think that would be a good benefit to us, finding the kids who want to learn all these things, and we can have them go through the study book, and we can have them watch videos and understand like it's almost endless on what way you could take it. and it's a big industry. It's a global industry, and it really could be a career, and it's a great lifestyle. Like for me, I love the lifestyle, and just trying to be a benefit to the industry. And if people get built up and they outgrow our company, I want it to be, if people leave, I hope it's for a positive reason. I never want it to be like my fault as the owner, or maybe they discover what they're meant to actually be doing in life.
Yeah.
I can accept that. But if, so we want to grow, but we're in no rush because we want to build it right the first time. So we'll see. I'm open to whatever happens. And
You're just trying to get the bones going first before you build everything else.
yeah, strong foundation. So
Yeah.
well, thank you, Miss
That's all
Ashley.
the questions I have for you today.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Hey, it's Will with the Podcast Crew team. Spotlight is a vidcast shot at the Podcast Crew Studios in Minneapolis. We would love for you to be our guest. Email us at the email address on your screen below to get a copy of the upcoming schedule. It's free, it's easy, and it's a great way to try out a podcast or a vidcast with our pro team. We do an in-person, in-studio version if you're in the Twin Cities area, and also an online version if you're somewhere else. We'd love to have you, hear your story, and help you start your podcast journey. Thanks. Get in touch today.